Hi, I'm Mario Evon, and you're listening to Talk Truth, a weekly edutainment podcast discussing the things that most people are afraid to, but from a Jamaican perspective. From relationships, sex and sexuality, to the ins and outs of entrepreneurship, in this space we speak about almost anything with the intention to inspire, educate, entertain, and create a fair and balanced space where your truth shall become your power and set you free. Yo, my family, wagwan! It's Sunday morning, you done already, yellow! You're listening to Talk Truth! Talk Truthers, big up, welcome to another wonderful morning. We're alive, we're breathing, and I give thanks for being here. And I even give thanks even more for having my guest today, who is none other than Mezan Ayoka, writer and filmmaker. And today we talk about a kind of cool topic, and that's relationship expectations. And Mezan, as a creative, walks me through how some of her ideals for relationships developed, some of the things that are happening in real life, and some of the things that are happening online. It's a crazy world out there, folks. Sit back, take a listen as we talk about relationship expectations with Mezan Ayoka. See you on the other side. All right, guys, welcome to this next episode of Talk Truth. And I'm so happy to be here again on another Sunday. And as usual, I have a wonderful guest, and she goes by the name of Mezan. Mezan, I always pronounce your second name Ayoka. How do you pronounce it?
That's it.
Is
Ayoka. Mizan
Mezan
Ayoka.
Ayoka?
Yes.
What
Well
does Mezan
balanced
Ayoka
one.
mean?
It means well balanced, one who brings joy. So Mizan is Ethiopian and Ayoka is Yoruba.
Wow, that's Nigerian. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So is it actually your real name?
Yeah. That's what the
Is it
parents gave me.
Wow, wow, I like it. Mezan, welcome again. Tell us a little bit
Thank
about
you.
who you are and what you do.
That's a good question. Depends on the day. I'm different things. But I'm a writer
Mm-hmm.
and a filmmaker and a Pisces, a
Ah,
lover of the beach.
makes sense.
And yeah, I have been writing ever since I can remember. Um, Not that I knew that I was writing, it
Right.
was just something I did.
It
Just
was
like,
it was happening, but back in the beginning, I'm sure it wasn't like a craft to make money or anything. It was just pouring out of you.
exactly. It wasn't even conceived as something like homework, or it was, it's playtime. Okay, I'm gonna write. Who
How
does
does
that?
a how I know I was just gonna ask you, how does a young girl start to write, and at what age did you start writing?
So I don't know what I can't remember. I do remember my mother giving me a diary,
Mm-hmm.
and so I guess I just said, okay, I guess I should write in the diary, and it just clicked.
You have a
And
ballpark of like how old you were?
um, okay, maybe 7.
Okay, that's an interesting age. I started to sing around 7 too, you know.
Oh,
So that's interesting when kids actually start doing things that they love.
even without realizing you love it because you're just doing it.
Yeah, I was just doing it. I was just
Yeah.
mimicking people on the radio. I had no idea what was going on, but I didn't realize whether it was good or bad. I maybe in my mind it was good, and I guess it wasn't
Mhm.
bad.
But that's the thing. I didn't even have, is my writing good? Is my writing bad? It was just, I enjoy this and I'm going to do it now, you
But
know?
isn't that the wonderful lens of a child though? That
Exactly.
they're not really beating themselves up about the creativity. They just create.
Exactly.
Well, that changes with adulthood,
Oh boy. Then in adulthood, you get all these ways of judging. Is this
right?
a sentence? Should the comma go here? You
Right.
know, um, Kamal Brathwaite wrote it like this. How should I write it?
Exactly. All these voices
Uh,
come into well, interestingly enough, people might think we're going to talk about writing today, but that's not the topic we've decided to talk about. We're actually talking about relationship expectations, which you threw at me. So I'm guessing that you have been having some wonderful experiences in this realm.
I've been having experiences. I'm not going to judge them.
We can't say whether they're wonderful yet.
I've been having experiences for certain.
Well, let's start a little bit about you had mentioned to me before the show about being a lover of movies and how growing up they help to somehow formulate our expectations of love and relationships. Tell me what that means to you.
So I think for me, the movie that really changed my life was The Little Mermaid. I
Mm.
mean, this princess who has everything under the sea saves a prince, and then just like that, they fall in love, and she goes to a witch and gets legs. Wow. I mean, oh my God, right? Getting legs for love. It's
I know, right? I mean, nobody could even imagine that but Disney. Like, who gets legs for
exactly.
love? So, I should know this story well. But
Mhm.
after she gets her legs, she loses her
She
fins,
loses
right?
her voice. Yeah, man,
But
she
but she
loses.
gets but she gets the man.
Well, it's tricky because, I mean, now looking back, I can see that, yeah, he was passed out, so he really didn't see her. So she's more of a memory. So he is amazed by the beauty, but because she can't talk, they can't get to know each other. And all she has to do is get him to kiss her. And there's this lovely "You Got to Kiss the Girl" song, and it's really
Right, kiss the
sweet. And
girl with the
yes,
accent, right?
the terrible accent, but yeah.
So right now, based on this recollection of the Little Mermaid, I'm just
Mhm.
thinking, crap, you have to make crazy sacrifices for love. But what's the silver lining to it for you? What did it mean to you, like when you saw it? You
Well,
thought it was a cool story?
no, well, it meant that I was gonna find a merman and go live in the ocean, happily ever after, and he would be a prince. So then I would be the princess, because you know that's just what it meant.
That's is what it meant. So it
And
was kind of perfect.
it was. I was really looking forward to this new life under the sea with this wonderful merman who could sing and dance, and we could go on adventures. But that's just not.
So
That's
I
just
mean,
not
so that
how it turns
hasn't
out.
come to life at all.
Not in the way it's portrayed. It's like, when they see each other and like they just know in that
Right,
moment, you just
right.
know, and you're
That
willing to do everything right there. Like that. That's not true.
that kind of certainty within such a short period of time is probably not as common as we'd like to think, eh?
Yeah. But
Are
sometimes it's
there
more based on lust, and I when I got older and I rewatched The Little Mermaid, I
right,
realized that that's what it was. It was just attraction. It was, oh, this guy's attractive. Oh, this girl's attractive. But once they actually were together, without the communication, without finding out shared interests,
right.
all of that, you really couldn't build anything.
Interesting. All right, these are important gems that we must come back to. Are there any other movies that stand out in your mind growing up that painted any pictures of love that you or
Well,
relationships that you liked or that you remember?
I won't, well, I think I'm going to say movies that messed me up.
Yeah, we can go there too.
Pretty Woman is
Oh
the
gosh, I
next
knew that would have
one.
been in the list. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. I mean, it is such a beautiful movie.
yeah.
And when you're young and impressionable, you really shouldn't watch movies like that.
I know. I'll keep that in mind
And I
for
mean,
when I have a daughter.
yes, please. Because even Cinderella, I think there's more fantasy in Cinderella. But it pretty much is a modern day Cinderella story, right?
Yeah.
That no matter um, how messed up your life is, if you find the right man, if he's rich enough and loves you enough and you're pretty enough, doesn't matter if you were a hooker. Doesn't matter if you
Or if
came
you're
from a
dirt
small
poor.
town, or if you're dirt poor, come from a small town.
But isn't
Yo,
that kind of the beauty in the story too, though? That a small town girl or a stripper or a hooker can like find the match of her dreams that didn't seem like it would ever happen.
Sure. Sure.
All right, so we see where that kind of hope is where is the problem here, the hope that these movies are creating. All right, but all right, so we move along though. So this is
Hmm.
kind of movies and how they inspired you, but you are a storyteller and you are a filmmaker. You went on to create a film that I wanted to tell our listeners about. I
Okay.
mean, without giving away the punch, of course.
Okay. So the my short film is called Going Down, and the premise is a question. What would you do if you stepped into an elevator with your boyfriend and you see your husband kissing another woman?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's deep. Let's repeat that. What would happen if the woman steps into an elevator with her boyfriend and
Hmm.
sees her husband kissing another one? So both of them are cheat anyway,
Exactly. So nobody can come in with their holier than thou attitude because they're both wrong.
right? And they're
How are we
kind of
going to
on a
deal
level
with it?
playing field. And would that elevator moment be when they both discover what's up? In a sense,
Yeah.
wow. And then the short film unfolds, right?
Yes. It as they descend. Um,
What a way them going down and not up. They must be descending, right?
exactly, they
They're
are.
going down,
But you
probably to
know,
the
like a
basement,
phoenix, you got
right?
to burn to recreate yourself, right?
All right. Though I have seen the short film, I have terrible movie memory. So
Hmm.
what I'm doing right now is not a spoiler, but let's use the film to discuss some hypothetics.
Sure.
I think in essence though, it's either it work or it don't work. So it's either you see that and it mash up your relationship, or you see it and gonna find a way to make it work.
Hmm.
Um, do you think that relationships can have unconventional structures?
Yes, definitely.
And you think that's a new age thing, or you think it's always been going on, but we're just more open to the conversation?
I do think it has always been going on. I don't know if the people in the relationships necessarily spoke about it or if they just said, well, I saw him stay, I saw she stay, and I'm going to work with it.
Right.
But I know that now we're definitely more open to talking about what our relationship should look like.
Wow, that's funny. And I mean, in my last episode, well, it will be it will be two episodes from this one. I spoke to Fabian Thomas about masculinity,
I
but
love
we also,
Fabian. Yeah,
yeah,
I will
Fabian is
listen to that
cool.
one.
But funnily enough, this came up in the topic because I brought up masculinity and how it links to relationships and sexuality, and we got into a conversation about just this, about how people have now created new normals for their relationship structures
Hmm.
that are heavily based on communication. Is this something that you think you do personally? And I threw that you, but
Yeah, I think I saw an interesting meme. I don't know if it was a
mm,
meme or whatever, but it was saying that people say that communication is the basis of a good relationship, but it's
mm,
really comprehension
mm,
that is or not communication. I was like, whoa, because
that's very
I
deep.
have like spoken to people until we're both blue and we leave, and none of us have really
Really come to
taken
any middle ground.
exactly or really understood what the other person was saying. And I was just like, wow, I think that's really where it is. So it's not just saying this is the kind of relationship I want and this is what we need to do, but how can we together, taking our expectations, create something that will work?
Wow, that's a big gem there a while ago. It's not communication, it's comprehension. So it's
Hmm.
understanding. Because if you're talking and talking and talking and other person don't get it, then it's not going to go anywhere.
Not one place.
Thanks, Mezan. You just saved my entire life.
That's why I'm
My
here.
dating life is saved. All right, no, I'm kidding, but no, that is really powerful, actually. Okay, I see that. And I like how you nicely dodged out whether you would be open to being in that situation. But I
Which
mean, a
situation?
situation.
In the elevator?
Well, no, I shouldn't say that. You
Oh,
didn't dodge it, but I mean, you
oh,
would be open to having a relationship that is unconventional if both of you agreed.
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Mm.
yeah. And we have to define unconventional, of course,
I know, right?
but
Right.
yeah.
But that's the comprehension and communication coming together, right?
Exactly, exactly. Because I don't. I think we have to move past what we think we saw with our parents and grandparents, because the truth is we don't know. I recently interviewed both of my grandparents
Mm-hmm.
separately,
On camera?
human on camera, just
Nice.
to collect their stories.
Nice.
And hearing, first of all, the two of them have totally different experiences in their marriage. It's bewildering that after almost 60 years together that they remember it in such different ways,
Right.
even talking about experiences that they had.
Yeah.
um, but I also realized that at the core of it, they were always trying to understand each other. And when I spoke to my aunts and uncles and my mother, how they describe their relationship is not how the parents describe their relationship. So you can never be outside of it and really know what it is. So I think we have to move away from trying to recreate something that we think we saw,
Right.
because we really
Really
have
don't know what it
no
is.
idea what it was.
Right. Because at the end of the day, there is what is presented to the world and even what's presented to a child
Exactly.
and versus what really happened and what's really going
Exactly.
on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, we're going to come back to staying on topic, but I saw something really cool that I think you're on, and I want you to tell me about it.
hmm
You're on a kind of committee for Cannes.
It's a competition called Diversity in Cannes. It's a
Uh-huh.
showcase at Cannes, at the Cannes
Yeah.
Film Festival.
Yes.
And yeah, I am just watching videos, commenting, scoring, and we have talks with the committee as well. So we're in the last leg now, because
Hmm.
they're going to announce pretty soon. So I have maybe 20 more videos to watch.
Well, congratulations, though. I think that's a cool project to be a part of. How did you get involved?
Well, I met the lady who runs it. Her name is Yolanda. I met her at Berlinale last year. It was my feature film, Blue Fields. It actually won a pitch competition,
Mm-hmm.
and the prize was a trip to Berlinale. So going down was at Clermont in France, and we just flew over to Berlin and met the producer and the rest of the Jamaican delegation there. And at a party one night, just started talking to this lady, and we hit it off. We had a really great conversation, just laughing, and we've kept in contact since
That's
then.
really
So
cool.
when
Yeah.
she said, I need people, I was like, of course, sign me up.
You're like, I'm game. I'm
Yeah.
staying in this network. Yes. All right. So when you created Going Down,
Mhm.
um, was it something that you just felt like it was a story to be told, or you were having any personal relationship stuff that you were kind of trying to channel through the art, or what was the source of that inspiration?
So with going down, um, as a filmmaker, I'm really passionate about telling stories for and about women. And I've been thinking about relationship dynamics.
Right.
That's obvious.
Yeah.
Um, and every time I'd watch a movie, especially with black women, I found that they were either crying over the dick, or like trying to burn somebody's house down because the man don't treat them good, or
Right.
it was always these really weird extremes that I
Yeah.
just couldn't resonate with. And I kept thinking, what would I, not necessarily me, but if I was watching something, what would I want to see that woman do in this situation,
Right.
when neither of them are right? Because if you have a one person is right, you can do the holier than thou thing. But if both of you are wrong, how are you going to be an adult and really deal with this? And I just had that idea kind of mulling, mulling, mulling. And this lady came into my head. I think I just saw her seeing her husband with another woman while she was with her boyfriend. I was like,
Right.
huh, there's something here. What would happen? And then I drilled it down even further because I said, if they need to be somewhere where they can't escape.
Right. Right.
A restaurant, you can walk out, you can go to the bathroom, you can take a minute. But if you're in an elevator,
You're confined.
you've got to deal with this for at least 4 or 5 floors.
Right. And even in being confined, you may not deal with it at all, but it's the discomfort of
Exactly.
being in that space. Eh?
Exactly. And you make a really good point because you could actually not deal with the situation itself, but you're
Right.
doing some inner work on yourself as the
Exactly.
elevator is going down.
And
So,
I guess in the whole revelation of the whole thing, I'm sure a whole lot of thoughts will be going through your head
hmm
on that ride. Wow, that's crazy. All right, well, I'm glad you decided to tell these stories because the stories need to be told. I mean, some people come at some filmmakers hardcore because of how women are represented in their um projects. Not
hmm
calling Tyler Perry's name. I like TP. I call him TP sometimes. But sometimes TP can either make me happy or make me very angry, depending on what I'm watching by him. But I'll
I
I'll I'll
respect him
I
as
respect
like
him though.
yo, that man, he just stuck with his audience and his content, and he's building an empire. So
And
big
build
up
an
Tyler Perry.
empire
Yeah,
right from a day.
yeah. I mean, I watched. What did I watch recently? I watched Temptation.
Right.
Let me see. I hate watch Temptation, and I pretty much was messaging my friend because she told me to watch it,
Hmm.
but I mistook what she said. She wasn't telling me to watch it, really. But anyways, that's another story. And I was just like, I can't believe you made me watch this. This is terrible. You know what the girl doing now? You know what the man doing now? You know the girl. On and on.
You never had a chance, right?
Boy, yeah, I'm not a fan. I do watch them. I try to, but it
Yeah,
can be
I've been
tough.
watching the latest thing I've been watching by him now is a show on BT called Sisters.
Ooh, how is
And
that?
it's a bunch of course, sisters, black friends, female friends, and they kind of look at their lives in different ways. I mean, not the first time you have a show or but it's interesting. It's interesting, but sometimes the writing goes a little way out.
Is
But
it
like
like
everything Tyler
girlfriend?
Perry, I find that I can't stop watching it. Is it like Girlfriends? Different energy, but kind of.
Okay, okay.
But
Yeah, it's like
but
he gets
yeah,
us, but then there's some at some point in the movie where it just goes off the rails, but you're in so deep that you're like, I might as well just finish.
you perfectly nailed it. That's exactly it. It's like I'm pulling and then I'm in so deep that when it goes off the rails, I want to just turn off the TV, but I'm like, I have to watch this.
Yeah.
But this leads me, all right. So mentioning unconventional relationships and unconventional situations. Let's talk a little bit about online dating.
Oh Lord.
Because this is a space that I think you ventured into, right?
I did. I'm going to say that I am a student of people because I'm a writer.
Right.
I had a friend once who told me that I keep using that as an excuse to get myself in some really weird situation.
I know it's always that friend.
But I'm like, it's fodder. It's really fodder for writing and characters because yo, some people I've met.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, I decided to try online dating, and whoa, hi, you're beautiful, you're an angel. Can't stop running through my mind.
Right. How this is a how many days or hours into the
This
conversation?
is first. This is first contact.
Right, because they would have seen your profile, so they already
Right,
have a preamble. They know they
right.
so he just went right in.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, thank you so much for everything you're saying. And I now have an opening, which I'm just like, can you answer these questions? Let's see
Right.
what you're who you're really about. So one of my questions is, what's your favorite curse word?
Wow.
Um, like you prefer the beach or the mountains or beach or
Wow.
river, something like that.
Yeah.
And then like
Cats or
the most
dog.
impactful thing you read this week, because you need somebody who can read. I'm sorry.
Well, so that's a good starting point, right?
Oh my gosh.
And worse, you're worse, you're a writer and a filmmaker. Like if them can't read it, no make no sense.
No, it's just not going to work.
And I want to dig deep in the art. So any
Sure.
personal question I ask, you can choose not to answer. So
hmm
which platform did you use for online dating?
I use multiple
Right.
because girl gotta have options. Really.
Because I don't know much about this world, man, because I've stayed away from it. And I make jokes about Christian Mingle. I know there's a Bumble, and
Yeah,
I know there's Tinder where you swipe.
I've never done Tinder. I didn't even realize it was in Jamaica
People been
because
Tindering.
I've actually changed my. Okay, so on one of them, it's OK Cupid, which
Yes.
I don't recommend because it's free. So with the free version, you can get a lot of access.
Right.
So a lot of
It's
broke
so
people are
kind
on it. Oh my God. One guy said to me, you know, I would love to go out and meet you. So I said, you want to go on a date? And he said, no, 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 not a date. I'm not working, but I'd just love to come out and see you and say hi. I'm like, okay,
I
sir,
am
you
dead.
can
So we know
Skype
that
me
work
or
now.
something.
Right. We can have a video call.
You can
So
Skype me.
him so like if I want to leave him here and come to your gate and wave and then go back
Right?
home.
Yeah, and then it's like, can I just put my foot inside the door? Oh, next foot?
N-
No. So
No.
yeah,
So give me
that's
some clarity. So these dating sites, you were doing it in the context of Jamaica, right? So you were meeting Jamaicans, or you were
no.
talking to people
Oh my God,
overseas.
no. I do. I set my profile to anywhere.
Got you. So anybody could
Um.
have pop up.
So yeah, man. I met I don't know if we're friends now or what. I'm not sure, but I was communicating with somebody from Switzerland at one point. Different places in the U.S., of course,
Yeah.
the UK, and Jamaica. So I actually met one of the persons that I was online with in Jamaica.
And it
And
was okay in real life?
yeah, it was actually good. But we spoke on the phone a few times
Okay.
first.
So
So
that right,
we
that
were
broke the
texting,
ice a little bit.
texting. Then we spoke on the phone, and then we met. And yeah.
But don't you feel like, all right, my first question is, after doing it for a little while, what is your current perspective on online dating in
Um, I'm,
general?
I'm doing it for anthropology now. Really and
Research.
truly, it's really just research, and yeah, I think that there are interesting people there,
Right.
and definitely you can make friendships. I've had some very interesting conversations with people. As I said, I like weird things, so I had a conversation with somebody about some physics theory, and we like
Hmm.
went deep in it. And I haven't done physics since university,
Right.
so but we were just like talking about string theory and multiverses, and very interesting conversation.
Well, that one
Um,
reads.
but other than that, it's usually just hi, beautiful. How are you? Can I get your number? You
Mm.
want to send me a picture? Are you going in the
Uh,
shower now?
uh.
Block.
Well, that leads me to my next question, which I guess I would imagine the purpose of having online profiles would be
hmm
to kind of lessen the expectations because everything is kind of laid out for you so you can kind of see a match. Do you think that online dating creates more expectations or it really does break them down?
That's a really good question.
Or I guess maybe it will vary depending on who you meet.
For me, I think when I started the journey,
Hmm.
I had real expectations because I thought, one, the profiles are so in depth
Yeah.
that if you fill them out and you're real and honest, as honest as you can be, then it's a good starting point. But half of the people don't fill out their profiles. Um, there are different questions that you can answer. Half of the people don't fill them out.
Right. Because they're not
And
there for that.
exactly. And then I thought, okay, well, if you actually match with somebody, you have high percentages, the two of you match, then you would have a conversation. I was wrong about that too. It's just, hey, how are you? You
Right.
want to
So,
meet? Give me a note. It wasn't getting, and even the ones who say, I really want to get to know you, that's not what it's about.
right. So even though you match on paper, when you actually have an interaction, it's not sinking at all.
No. And I've done eHarmony too, So it's not,
Oh yeah.
I did eHarmony, I tried this one, and I did Bumble. And they're
Sorry. So
all,
all you've seen similarities in all spaces.
I think Bumble is, for me, is just stuck in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And no offense to Jamaican men, love Jamaican men, but yo, the one them on the internet, no, them
It's a
not work.
different breed, right?
Mm, no, one guy said to me because I was asking follow up questions as I often do. He said, "Wow, you know, your mind and thought process is just very different." But thanks for answering my questions, and that's
Yo,
because I follow up. I'm like, but you said this. What does that mean?
yeah, yeah. Well, you made a good point. I mean, I think for the most part, maybe what people do put down may be true, but it doesn't reflect what they're there for. And I
Hmm.
think what they're there for will determine what comes
The
out of it. So
quality
if
of
you're
the
there, yeah, if you're there for a hookup, then you're gonna come with hookup swag. Even if you read The Alchemist and you both love The Alchemist.
exactly, exactly.
Wow.
You're right.
So
Because
the
one
key is
guy
going
said
to
to
be
me,
to match. Oh, one guy said to you what?
the last one,
Mm-hmm.
he says he's there looking for a committed relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, that's interesting. I'm here looking for friendship and, maybe something that could lead to a relationship. But why do you think you're ready for a committed relationship? The man said to me, I'm an adult and I know what I want.
Mm-hmm. Red flag hangs up.
I was like,
Well,
this
you offended his sensibilities. The
I
man say
did.
him ready for a relationship. And you ask him why he want one. If you why him know him ready. He's like, I know I'm ready.
I'm a man, a man. Wait,
Man
how
a
you, how
man.
you do that?
Man a gangster. But
Yeah,
that's another good point to do. Like you ask somebody that kind of question, and if they were really at a certain level of emotional maturity, they'd probably say, I've had a few relationships, I've been heartbroken, this and that happened, that and that did happen, I grew in this way, and I feel it's time. That's what
exactly.
probably somebody of a certain level. But then he proved to you that he was not a match.
Not at that level. Nope, a dud.
Not a match. All right, so we have our Little Mermaid, we have our going down scenario, and we even
Mhm.
have online dating. Um, Mezan, where are you now? Again, on a global scope of how you feel about relationships and expectations. I'm gathering since you're doing online dating that you are single and
Mhm.
open to friendships, possibly a relationship.
Yes.
Where are you now with this in
I
general?
no. So as I said, when I started, I was like, "Yo, I found my husband. I'm ready." Urgh. And as I started communicating with more people, I realized that that approach is wasn't necessarily the best for me.
Right.
To go in so hard and so like, this is what I want,
Yeah.
um, didn't leave the room for friendship, which at the end of the day is what I realized I really wanted. I think at the core of a good relationship would be friendship, or
Absolutely.
should be friendship.
I think so too. Yeah.
So,
So when them
um,
looks fade, it's gonna come right back to the friendship.
exactly. And so many things happen throughout life that if it's not your friend next to you, I mean, can you imagine being in quarantine right now
Yeah.
without and the person you're with is not your friend?
Right. 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 Right.
There's like there what you guys would just kill each other. It just I can't even
And
I
worse, I don't. And worse, if you don't live together and you potentially shouldn't be making out, though I'm sure those people find a way. Anyway, but let's just say, for instance, they were just not in the same physical location
hmm.
and they couldn't make out, then they would have to be friends.
True, exactly. Exactly.
Oh wow, that's very deep. Very, very deep. Well, it's funny. I have a question for you. Do
Mhm.
you feel though um that people should be intentional about relationships? Is a conversation I always have because it's the one part of my life that I find I'm not very intentional about. And by that I mean I kind of believe that you meet people in Starbucks or in a coffee shop or you just walk into a place and you book somebody and in two twos you make a friend and then that person becomes your person. Versus people who I know have very clear check boxes, guidelines, pray for things. So you say, you think being intentional is important in finding somebody?
I think intentional, yes, but intentional with yourself. I think you have to have self knowledge um, about who you are, first of all, and what that
Yeah.
means. So, what baggage do you come with? What are the positive things that you come with? What are
Hmm.
those neutral things that you come with? Who are you? You know, you need to know that. And then from there, it's easier to know what kind of person you'd want. And I don't mean tall, short, fat, slim, but I
Right.
mean those core qualities that, with who you are as a person, you'll be able to be compatible with. And yeah, I think you can meet that person at Starbucks.
Right.
Just buck them up. But I do think after that, there must be some intention to follow up. You can't just go back to Starbucks and
Right.
hope you buck them up again.
Well, after you meet the person, you have an initial little spark. Then I do agree that both of you, I hope, will be
Yes,
intentional.
exactly.
And I guess that's when things take off, usually,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, usually.
I like
I
that
mean,
thought.
people do
Hmm.
have their baggage and stuff, but if you're a healed person or you're consciously doing that work and healing, and you don't have up a lot of walls and not putting off obstacles for the other person to jump over or for you to even jump over, then yeah, I think that's the best place to start because that light in you is going to shine out. And if you meet somebody that's shining at your frequency and you don't have all that clutter from the hurt and the trauma and the this and the that and the work and everything, then no more see each other.
Mezan, sis, you just preached one whole sermon a while ago.
I
Like, I want
did.
to just rewind that whole segment. This will be the moment. If I use any audio clip, it will be that. You just said everything. And I mean, you also said what I was going to say next, which pretty much is like being intentional about being open as well. But you said
Mhm.
a lot more than that. Um, I think in doing all the things you just said is when you can be open. And then once you're open again, then you can receive.
I agree.
But you definitely have to declutter. You have to know what you bring to the table.
Hmm.
Well, you sound pretty ready on your end. The question is, what's happening on the other end? All right, I have one last set of questions for
Hmm.
you, and I really wanted to ask you, how do you think people who are anxious about relationships can reduce their expectations? I mean, you said a lot about being healed and all of those things and doing the work. I agree. How do you think people need to decrease their expectations?
That's a good one. Um, I think you have to assess your expectations because um, it's so interesting. Me and a friend had a conversation about this one day, and I
Hmm.
was saying, you need to just live your life without expectations. I read a lot about Buddhism, and
Right,
like, you have to live your life without expectations. And she's just like, you have to have expectations. Expectations are a part of life.
right.
And and I saw where she was coming from, even though, for me, I try to practice detachment. So there's a difference there. But anyways, so the point though is that I think you have to assess your expectations. Are they unrealistic
Okay,
or
yeah,
are they realistic?
right.
If this man has to be 10 feet tall, have a 10-inch dick, have a huge ass house, have like $10 million in the bank, plus he can make you laugh, your mother like him, your father like him, he
You can
don't
take
have
him
no
to the
kids,
dance and you can
like,
take him to church and yeah, him having the kids. Never had a
right?
STI.
yeah, then you need to reassess
Right. How realistic this
how
is.
really, yeah. But I do think, in terms of how you want to be treated, I think you should have realistic expectations for that. And those should be your non negotiables because you need to be respected. You know, you need to have, some people need a lot of affection, some people need a lot of touch, some people need a lot of space, whatever it is, you need to be clear about those things, I think, and those need to be non negotiable. But you also need to make sure that your expectations are realistic.
Yo, Mez, you should become a pastor, a relationship pastor. No wonder
We
you like
are
relationships.
unequally yoked. I'm
I
sorry.
think no, you see, that's why I think you were comfortable throwing this topic out because I think you have a very rounded perspective on it, and I agree. I'm like you. I believe that you should live your life without a lot of expectations. But then that argument or discussion with you and your friend can become circular if you're not specific. But I think if you're coning down
Mhm.
with to stuff, I agree. Like some things need to be non-negotiable in terms of how you're treated, and I think that's reasonable. But I don't think you can want every single perfect thing in one person. It's just very rare.
No,
It
it
doesn't
really
exist
isn't.
actually.
Exactly. I mean, somebody can be perfect for you, and
Right.
there's still things about them that drive you crazy.
Drive you nuts. Right.
But you see, then you need to be at that place where you're not lashing out because it's driving you crazy. You know?
Right. So they're tolerable things, even though they're
Exactly.
right.
Yeah,
So it's
but
really
for
a balance.
that you can still show love even though it's driving you crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to just end on that note. Real relationship expectations. You can still show love even though it's driving you crazy.
Yeah.
That's not the note to end on. But you said so many other gems before that. Miz, I'm gonna now call you writer, filmmaker, and relationship coach. And
Thank you.
I want you to tell people how they can find you and find your work.
I'm an introvert. Just send me an email, please.
Send me an email. All right. So
Okay.
what do your clients reach out to you for?
You know, so I was very idealistic in my youth, and when I made my first business card, it
Hmm.
only had my email on it, and I'd be like,
Right.
just write me. It said Mezan Ayoka writer, mezanayoka@gmail.com. And people be like, how the fuck? Like, oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
You
And
can.
people be like, so how do I call, where's your number? And I'm like, no, my email. And they're like, can you just give me a number? So I had to write my number on the back of all of the cards.
But you are me, and I love when I meet a me because I don't want people to call me at all.
Unless it's
It-
that we plan, then you can call me. Like, otherwise, I'm looking at that phone with a side eye, like, really though?
that might be another podcast I may have to call it to speak about. We need to dig deeper into that problem. All right. So, all right, the short film is it publicly available yet or not right
No,
now?
not yet. Later this year. I'm going to release it later this year, but not
All
right
right.
now.
So that's going down,
Still
right?
waiting on some festivals. Yeah.
All right. That's
The
great.
last round.
Any final words, Mez? They can be on relationships. They can be self promo, even though I say that's not your thing. But any final words for the listeners?
um, just take a deep breath when you're setting out to find that love or that partner, whatever it is you're looking for. Just breathe because they're out there. And I think the more you work on yourself, even though I hate when people tell me this,
Yeah.
but the more, but really, and working on yourself doesn't mean exercising or reading more. It could literally mean going for a walk because you like to go for walks,
Right.
getting you coffee at Starbucks because that's your favorite thing to do. It gives you peace every day. Just do more of the things that really fuel you because then
Right.
you're going to be making yourself an even better, more interesting, more full person for whatever life has in store for you.
Oh wow, I love it. Mizan, thank you so much for being on this episode. You've really actually healed me a bit, which always happens on this show, damn it.
Awesome.
But I'm glad because at least I get to have a weekly therapy session for free.
Right? This is a good idea, Mario. A
I know,
really good
right?
idea.
But thank you for being on Talk Truth, and I look forward to whatever unfolds in your relationship world, whether it's online or offline.
Thank you very much. I look forward to it too. I'm going to write a book at some point, like Adventures in Online Dating.
And make a movie.
Of course. Well, I mean, of course, right?
All right, miss. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, guys, you just listened to episode number 37. I can't count. Is it 37 already? Wow. We're working our way to 40. You just listened to episode 37 of Talk Truth with Mezan Ayoka. And did she preach a sermon in there? I can't pay for these therapy sessions. I can't pay for them. They're too expensive. Mezan, thank you so much. Like, that's the beauty of doing this podcast is you just never know the gems that will be dropped. And who will drop them? You think she was going to come here to talk about how to write a screenplay? My girl just gave me the 411 on everything relationship expectations. I really enjoy that. And I hope you enjoyed it too. You know what to do. Every week I tell you, please leave a comment on iTunes. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, take a screenshot, put on social media, tag us on Instagram at TalkThatTruthJA, and tag me at Mario Evon. Follow me, follow the Talk Truth page. Sign up for our mailing list on the website, talktruthja.com. Send me an email at talktruthja@gmail.com. Yo, support the thing. Guys who are YouTubers, if you like to listen on YouTube, all these episodes are on YouTube. There's an entire Talk Truth playlist. And there's even one video in there with Randy Rowe. Like you can actually see a visual. Go to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. It's a pandemic. We're trying to monetize. I ain't got no shame about it. Hop over there. I already have more than 1,000 subscribers. I need 4,000 watch hours in less than 12 months. Help a brother out. Apart from that, please just go and support the thing. We have 3 more episodes to go. This season has been one of so much growth, but I won't even get into no long talking. I'll have another episode where I'll have time to talk. Thank you again for listening, guys. And of course, you're listening to Talk Truth, a place where your truth shall become your power and set you free. Until next time, guys. See you later.